Hey y'all, it's Diane with Shellcraft One and my old barn door, and today I want to work in the beginnings of our billowing journal and prepare some of the pages. Now, this is the little journal that we made from when I made the journal from our coffee dyed items, like our coffee dyed papers and our parchment paper and things like that. So this is the journal that we put together on that video. So we're going to build this into a billowing journal. So for today, I just want to kind of, excuse me, get some of the pages prepared and get them ready. I kind of want to grunge up the pages, or, you know, not really grunge them up, but kind of, I'll show you. Instead of explaining it, I'll just show you. So, excuse me. On this first page here, I've added some gesso, and I've put some on both sides, and it's just to, well, I'll show you. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Okay, so some of the pages I want to do some different things on. So, and maybe I'll just do this a craft with me series, you know, making the billowing journal. Excuse me. So now that I have gesso on here, I want to add in a little bit of my sprays. You know, I want to add some color in here. So I'm going to stay with my same theme with the purples and the greens, if I can find the green that I'm looking for. Here we go. So I have the Sweet Violet Purple Teal from Lindy's. And then I have the Tattered Angels Golden Leaves green. So I've got purple and green. That's kind of what I'm going with. I mean, I'm sure I'll have other colors added in too. Excuse me. But I just want some purples and greens to be kind of like the main colors that I use. All right, so I'm going to do some different things on my pages just to make them look a little different and just to play with them and have fun with them. So on this one, I'm just going to spray directly on the page, and I don't want a lot. I just want a little, just enough to give it a little bit of color. Whoops. I actually like the way it dripped there. So I'm just going to kind of tap off the excess, and then I'm going to turn it over. And I just want to, like I say, I don't want a whole lot, just a little bit. All right, so that's the purple. Ooh, I'm getting spray everywhere. I might need to move some things. It's going all over my desk, and I have lots of stuff on my desk, y'all. All right, this is probably going to be a little bit longer of a video because there's several different things that I want to do to the pages. So just sit back and relax, and I don't know, maybe... I don't know, I may add some music in a little bit once I show you the different ways that I'm going to do the pages. I didn't really want that much green, but I don't guess I'm going to have a choice. Alright, so I'm going to kind of hold my spray out this way and just kind of do it like that. Yes, that's what I was looking for. Just enough to add a little bit of color. Okay, so we're going to let this one dry, and it won't take long because they're not sprayed real wet or anything. So that one's going to go there, and we'll come back to this one because there's a couple of other things I want to do to it. Okay, so on this one, this coffee dyed page, ooh, I love the way it feels. I've already put some gesso on it, and there's several different ways that you can do your gesso. You know what, while this one's drying, we'll just kind of go through and do a few pages, and I can show you, you know, different ways that you can add your gesso. So I'm just going to grab my gesso. And so you can use a brayer if you want to. And if you do that, you're going to need a little bit of gesso on a little extra sheet of paper or something. So I'm just going to put some right here. And then that's left on my card, I'm going to take it and just kind of swipe it here, and that way whoever gets this journal, you will be able to have, you'll be able to write on this page with that gesso as your primer. I've got dried gesso on my card, so it's making marks. I might need to wash my card or get a different card. I don't know. I use this card all the time. It's like my favorite one to use. Let's try a different one, because that one's messing me up. Okay, let's try this one. All right. So, and if you notice, I kind of folded this sideways because I don't want it perfectly straight. Because I just think it adds a little extra something to the feel of the journal. Okay, so on this one, let's do some, let's see how we do with our brayer. Let's get a little gesso on our brayer, and I'm thinking, now let me just see how it goes. And I just kind of want to smooth it onto the page, and that way it gives you a good writing surface. But I don't want a whole lot, so we're just going to put little bits on each page. I should have thinned out my gesso for this just a little bit. And it doesn't have to be, you know, all over the whole page. But I kind of want it, ooh, I'm sticking together. I'm going to have to stop in between and dry, because otherwise I'm going to have stuck together pages. Okay, hang on and let me dry these. Okay, got those dry. And I love, 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 can y'all see the edge of this? And I love how it's torn down here. To me, that just adds to the effect of this type of journal. Oh, and I was going to show you too. You know, the parchment paper, we have a hard time getting our glues to stick to the parchment paper. And I've noticed that it's come off of this here. I just now noticed that. So, I'm just going to glue it back down. I'm just going to take my Mod Podge and glue it back down on there. So, you know, if you don't want that to happen in your journal, which it doesn't bother me, because to me it adds to the age of the journal some more. But if you don't want that to happen, run some stitching on it. You know, just run some stitches throughout your parchment paper, and it'll kind of hold those on there better. I mean, I'm just trying to come up with ideas, because I know we all fight with trying to get our goodies, our pretty stuff to stick to our parchment paper, because we all love the crinkle of the parchment paper. So there are ways that we can do it. Okay, so that's an easy fix. All right, let me dry that. Okay, I got that dried, and now I don't remember where I was at, so we're just going to keep going. All right, and on this one, I do want to put a little bit of gesso. So there's other ways that you can add your gesso too, and I'll show you that way. If you want to just take your card, and I just kind of put it in random spots, and then I just try to kind of smooth it out, and I try to get it as thin as possible, but I don't want the lines in it. So I just kind of take my card and swipe it on there, and then swipe over it with like a dry edge to kind of get rid of some of the thickness. And if you want it a little smoother than that, take your brayer, you know, and just kind of smooth it out a little. Okay, and then I'm going to dry this, and I'll come right back. Okay, got that dried. And then one other thing you can do is you can take your little crinkle paper here. This is just wax paper that I've put this gesso on, and I'm just smearing it around the wax paper so that it's not so thick. And then I'm just going to take it in random spots and dab it on, because sometimes I like it to have a little bit of a texture. And if you don't like the texture, you know, if you don't want that texture on your pages, then again, you can just take your your brayer and smooth it out like so. I'm going to smooth this one out too because I want this one to be a writable surface. Okay. And then this one I'm going to kind of leave some of the texture just because I like it. All right, so those are some different ways that you can, I mean, you can use a brush too. I'll show you. Let me find my gesso brush. Here we go. You can put it on with a brush, so I'm just going to get a little bit on my brush, and I'm not getting too much. I'm just kind of dabbing my brush in there. I don't want a whole bunch. And then I'm just going to add it in here on certain areas of the page. Okay, so we'll add a little over here. And then add some here. And I'm going to scoot this over so I can kind of get it in the crease, you know, where the paper folds so that it goes over to the next side too. Now, you don't have to do this, but this, I'm just having fun with it. I'm just totally having fun playing with my gessos and my inks and my sprays and my stamps, and I'm just, you know, enjoying life, I guess. And in the midst of all of this, I am attempting to pack up my house, which has been quite an overwhelming task. Yesterday was a dud day because I literally was so overwhelmed that I sat on the chair and played a game and was like, I just can't even. So I can't have too many days like that, but maybe it was like, I don't know, my nerves were just shot yesterday, and I think I was just letting it get to me and letting it overwhelm me to the point of where it was hard to function. So I had to just kind of maybe take a mental check day. I don't know, a mental health check day or something. I don't know. So anyways, so those are some different ways that you can add your gesso to your pages. Now I'm going to pause it and go through and dry these, and then we'll come right back and play with them. Okay, so we've got these pages dry, and I'm not going to go through and do the rest of the gesso yet because I want to show you a few different ways that you can just make your pages really pretty, you know, and decorate them up a little, and again, just play with it and have fun with it. That's the whole point of it. All right, so we have our page that we did our ink sprays on, and it's dry. Okay, and so I want to do some different inking on some of the other pages. Like, let's pull this page out. Okay, I'm going to sit that to the side because with this page, maybe I don't want the ink to be sprayed on there. But I still want to add a little color. So I'm going to take this color. This one is the Tattered Angels. Dragonfly is the name of this one. So I'm just going to shake it up. Make sure I get all my pigment stirred up in there. I'm going to move my brayer so I don't spray it. And then I'm just going to spray a little bit of this on my mat. Loving, loving, loving my glass mat. It's awesome. And then this is just my water bottle. I'm going to add a little to that because this color is very, very vibrant. Okay. So I don't want it to be, you know, I don't want it to overwhelm it. I just want to add little bits here and there. So we're just going to dip our page down into that just in some random spots. And I like it when it runs. Okay. And I'm not going to do a whole lot more on this page. I'm just going to maybe dip a little bit of that corner in there and let it run. Okay. And then I'm going to sit this to the side and let it dry. But you can see the difference. You can see how, hopefully you can see it on camera. And you'll be able to see it better when it dries, but how the gesso picks up some of the color. So you can see it a little better. So I'm going to sit this to the side and let it dry. And then we'll move on. No, let me just dry it. Hang on a second. Okay, so I've dried it, and I love, love, love the markings that I got with it. Can y'all see that? Hopefully you can see well enough in the lighting to see the wonderful markings. See, I love the way, and it almost looks like it's coffee dyed and inked. Okay, so we got that layer. Now I want another color on here. And, you know, you can make this as labor intensive as you want to, or as little labor as you want to. I like doing this. These are things that I enjoy. Like, excuse me, you know, a lot of people love sewing on everything. I'm not a huge fan of sewing, so I don't sew as much as some other people. But this, I have so much fun working with these ink sprays and the inks and the paints and things like that. And so, you know, this is just something that I enjoy doing. So you can do it however you want to do it, but this is just what's in my mind's eye, you know, to do on the pages. Okay, so enough talk. So now I want to add another color. And I think I want to take my Dusty Concord, because I've used it on a lot of the things that that are going to go in this journal, you know, the things that we've been making. And so I'm thinking I want to have this color, just a little bit of this color on the page. So I'm going to take my ink pad and I'm just going to put a little bit of ink down on my mat, like so. And then I'm going to spray it with water. Woo, that's a bunch. But that's okay, because I really don't want that much, but we're going to have just a little bit of it. All right, so I want to put some up in this corner up here. So I'm just going to put a little, not a whole lot, and I am going to let it run a little. So I'll just pick up my paper, and sometimes I'll just kind of tap it on my mat to let it get a run going, kind of like this. And then maybe a little bit right here. So I'm just going to touch it to that. Okay, and that's all I want. Yeah, I think that's all that I want on that page. So then what I would do is, if I was normally doing this, you know, doing a whole journal, I would go over and grab the rest of my pages and start inking them, but I don't have them all gessoed yet. So I'm going to take my scrap sheets. Where did I put them? Oh, here they are. Okay, so like these are some sheets that I stamped off on. Oh, and look, the color goes perfectly with that. I think that's actually the Dusty Concord ink that I did with this stamp. So I'm just going to pick up the rest of my ink that's on my mat in different spots on these pages. I'm just going to kind of dip it in and dry up as much of that color as I can. And then I'll wipe it off. Set those to the side and let them dry. I hope everybody's having a good day, and I hope everybody was safe in the storms this week. It was, I know some places had some pretty rough storms, and I'm a little concerned about my camper because it was in the vicinity of some of those storms. So I told my sunshine that we're going to have to check on the camper soon. I haven't even got to go to the camper since October. There's just been so much going on, and you know, my car's still tore up. It still needs a $600 plus repair. So Lord knows when I'll be able to take care of that. So it just sits outside and looks happy, I guess. All right, I'm going to dry this page and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got my page dry. And see how you really can't tell what it's going to look like until you dry it. Look how pretty that is. Just little bits of color. So now let's put it back in the journal. And let's see what it's going to look like. I think I want to fold it this way. page folds in there, and that page folds in there. Okay, so now we have, you know, a pretty and an interesting page in our journal. Now, if you want to take it one step farther, and you can, and I'm going to, we can put a little bit of decorating on the pages. Okay, so let's just take this page. Let's start with this page. And what I mean when I say decorating, I'm going to use some stamps, and I'm just going to use a very random stamp pattern. I just want a little bit of stamping here and there on the pages, just for added interest. So this is one of my favorite script stamps, and the reason I like this is because it has, you know, a lot of different types of script on the stamp. So again, I think I got this maybe this came from Allie. Not real sure. But anyways, so this is just the Ranger Jet Black Archival ink. So I'm just going to do some random stamping with this stamp on the page. And I'm going to get a scrap here to kind of stamp off on, because, I mean, you can do it on this mat, but why waste the stamp, you know, when you can have a stamp off page. I'll show you one of mine. Well, it's drying. I'll show it to you when it dries. So I'm just going to kind of do some random stamping, and I love the second generation stamping that you get sometimes. Let's do some of this one kind of in the middle here, and I don't want them all to be, you know, straight across. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of this one right here. I love the script stamp. Okay, put a little there, maybe a little across the middle there, and then I'm going to kind of stamp off, you know, like the second generation stamping. And I think that's it. That's all I want of that one. But then I have another one that has a little bit of music on it, and it's kind of one of my favorite ones to use too. It's this one. Again, I think I got this from Allie. Not real sure. And you can put it on a stamp block. I just am too lazy to get the stamp block out. Let me get one. Hang on. So see, you can, you know, you can put it on a stamp block and do your stamping that way. But sometimes I don't want to stamp the whole thing, you know, and so I find that it's easier if I take it off the stamp block. Then I can just dip what part I want into the ink, and then you don't have the whole stamp, you see. So I just want that music part to be kind of randomly stamped on my page, and I don't want too much again. So I'm just going to stamp off the excess and be done with it. So see, something very simple, but then when you fold this up, and I love how crinkly my paper's getting, and it's starting to look really grungy. So then you can fold this and put it back in your journal, you know, and that's a really, really pretty page, and it's just got something interesting to draw your eye, but you can still journal right over the top of all of this. And if your ink is stamped too dark, take a little bit of gesso. I've just got just a little bit on here, and just kind of go over it to lighten it up some, you know, and that way you can still feel like you can write over it without it being too vibrant. Okay, so there's that page. Now I need to stamp on this side of it too, or maybe, you know what, I'm not going to stamp on all of them because I don't want them all to look exactly the same, but I'm going to stamp on quite a few of them just because I'm having fun with it. Okay, so like on this one, I'm going to sit my ink right there, and I have some number stamps. Let's do some numbers on one of them. think I will put this one on an ink block. Let's just do that. Okay. And I don't know if y'all can see the little bitty numbers here on the side, but I really enjoy this. Okay, now I'm going to take my scrap sheet of paper, put it underneath here in case I stamp off a little. Okay, so see, I just want that right there. Maybe right there. Maybe a little right there. And that's it. Very simple. And then it still gives you plenty of room for journaling. Okay, I think I want a little bit of the music on this one. Just a tiny bit. So I have music on this side too. Let's just do this little bar here. Okay. And I don't want the whole thing. I just want it kind of here and there. And maybe a little bit in that corner right there. Okay. That works. Okay. I like it. Okay, so on this page, let's do something a little bit different. Where are we on our time? Oh, we're a long way on our time, aren't we? Is that, I can't see the numbers. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're at 26 minutes. So, you know what? I think what I'm going to do is just keep going with this and maybe speed it up and add music to it. And so if you're done watching, you can be done. It'll be a 30-minute video, but if not, you can keep going and watch while I, finish the pages and play the music or whatever. And we'll just make this a little bit longer of a craft with me because I'm really having fun with this. Hopefully, y'all have your stuff out playing with it too. And I hope you're having fun with yours too. So, here we go. We'll get as far as we can.